Hello YouTube, Robin Hood Bricks here, and today I'm going to continue my line of facades along the back wall with another skyscraper round about here. Now I realise this isn't a skyscraper, but just a bit of housekeeping before we get started on the facade. In a recent brick haul I got 4 of these panels which have got the height markings as part of the police island or prison island set, and that was for measuring the height of felons when you were taking their mugshot. But I thought I could use these stickers before just taking them off and binning them and using the pieces for my beach wall. So I thought, well, why not apply them to a boat and use them as a plimsoll line? Now, if you don't know what a plimsoll line is, you'll probably be familiar with it when it's in position. It's these sort of lines on the side of a boat that show exactly how laden it is, so how heavy it is in the water, because the more you load on the boat, then the lower it gets in the water. And beyond a certain point, that's unsafe. So the plimsoll line was invented. So this is just 2 of those stickers. There's one around the corner. I won't show you that as well. But I think it looks rather good. That doesn't show up a great deal, and quite frankly, when this is the right way up, it's so in shadow you'd barely notice, but I think it's better than putting them in the bin. Very good. Right, so on to the skyscraper facade. Now I'm actually planning 2 more skyscrapers next to the black and trans green one at the moment. It may not be limited to 2, but 2 are firmly in progress. One we're going to do today, which I've got all the pieces for, and the second one I'll do quite shortly, but I just need a few more tiles in order to get that done. So the first one is going to be the smaller of the 2, so it's going to be kind of like a really tall black and trans green one, then a smaller one, which is today's one, and then another big wide tall one. So this is supposed to be very sort of subtle in comparison, so it's not crazy grand. And the main piece that it's based on is this piece. Now you'll have seen this in several hauls because I've been accumulating these once I realised they existed. This is only from one set, which is the Juniors Fire Emergency set, 10671. But I really liked it because it's got a lot of texture to it. And although obviously we could replicate this sort of texture and all this sort of detail with bricks, that'd be quite piece intensive. And as I say, this building's supposed to be sort of just filling a bit of wall space in between 2 much more interesting buildings that will have a lot more going on. So this is kind of meant to blend into the background. But I also very much like, if you remember my design rules from video 100, you'll know that I like to use pieces from as many different ranges as possible. So using some stuff from Juniors is a-okay by me. So the rough basis for this tower is to have this piece repeating one above the other. So it's going to be quite a tall and thin tower, but obviously we need it a little bit wider, otherwise it'd be only 6 studs wide, it'd be a bit too skinny. So I looked at what else I had, and I have a lot of 1x2x5 bricks, both in red and black, and I also seem to have accumulated quite a lot of 2x10 black bricks. So just sort of playing with these in sort of random way, I was sort of thinking if I used the black to break up the red, I could very easily make something a little bit 3-dimensional, because now it's 2 studs deep rather than 1, and quite a lot wider without really using many more bricks. And I think that flat against the wall, kind of like that, if you imagine my table is my wall, would be quite slim, quite basic, but quite effective as well. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, I thought rather than using trans clear glass, which the 3rd tower that we haven't done will be, and the one over here that we have done would be the trans green one, so I thought just for a change I'd use trans light blue for the windows. I'm not a massive fan of trans light blue, but it does work and you can see through it, and when it's against the sort of very pale wall, I think you'll see that difference in hue, and I think that'll look quite pleasing. So I'm going to go with that. So then I just need a few more bricks to finish off this layer. Basically, we need a couple of black 1x1s to sort of deal with that overhang at the bottom. And then we need a couple of 2x2s to make those 1x2x5s level with the layer above. And then we can start to repeat with another 2x10 and two more of the black 1x1s. And then you've pretty much got this sort of horizontal black line and these vertical black lines breaking up the large expanse of red. So I like this quite a lot. Now the only thing I then thought was, well, it's incredibly flat this way. I mean, you look at it like that, it's just very boring indeed. So one thing I thought, looking through what pieces I had, because again, one of the reasons for building this in this way is to use the pieces that I do have. And I do have, for some reason, loads of corner plates and quite a few of these 1x8 modified plates with the rail. So I just thought that could almost be like a sort of ledge. And we could use it like that. Then put back these bricks. And there, just a bit more detail, a bit more interest, and another horizontal, different coloured line breaking up the monotony. So I think that looks really good. It's quite basic, as I say, but effective. And as with any skyscraper, you've just got to keep adding more and more. And I was trying to get as many of these pieces as possible, but even so, I was only able to get 5. And though I might be able to pick up more in future videos, I estimate that a building that will be about 6 stories high using this method is what I ideally want. And that's just because I don't want this to tower over the trans green and black building, and I don't want it to tower over the other building on the other side. Oop, I've forgotten my ledge layer. So essentially, by having it 6 stories high, it will be just a slight drop between the two taller buildings. So it'll kind of be like a skyline that goes down a little bit and then continues back up. And I think that should be quite a pleasing thing, because you don't want all of your buildings exactly the same height, because it will look a bit boring. Okay, so there, 2 floors. Now, just to save time, I've pre-built some more floors. So then we've got 3, 4, 5, and this is where I would put on the 6th, but as I said, I've only got 5 of these. So we do have a nice tall building, but we need to do something for the 6th floor. Now, I'm all right for the other bricks, but it was what to put in the middle. So the first option was just to put in a blank red panel made of 1x2x5s and a 1x6 brick. And that could be just to represent sort of a lowest floor that doesn't have a window, or this detailing. And that's not too bad, because remember, all these facade skyscrapers are behind 2 rail lines and the raised tram line monorail system. So, you know, you can never see this bottom thing. Also, it's actually behind a whole run of modulars, so you probably won't even see the 2nd floor either. But I'm not sure if I'm wedded to that. It does look a bit boring. It is in keeping with the rest. And in one of the halls, I also got this piece, which is very similar. I mean, it's identical in the pattern, in the piece type, but the pattern is obviously very different. It looks like it's sort of got utilities and, you know, a lot more damage to it. And it actually comes from a set where this represents part of a car garage. And I did think if I swapped the bottom floor from red to white, then perhaps this could be sort of like the service floor where all the utilities are, and perhaps where the foreman for the building works or something like that. And it would actually be quite a contrast. Now I'm kind of torn between the two. I don't really know which way to jump. I do think that a solid wall is quite boring, so I think I'm going to stick with this. Yeah, I think so. Now the last thing, this is very hard to show you when it's this long on a table, but the last thing I need to do is just finish off the top to make that look a bit more neat. And to do that, I'm going to add just one more layer of the ledge, like that. Two more of these corner plates rather. And then that looks a bit rough, so I thought just keeping the red and black colour theme up, I'll tile the roof. So I've got 3 2x2s, 2 black 1x2s for the stripes. So the stripe sort of goes up and round the top. And then I can have red 1x2 and 1x1. On each side. So I think you'll agree that looks a lot more smart. So here is our tower in its full glory, albeit on a black table horizontally rather than a white wall vertically. And I think the remaining thing to do is something with the interiors. Now we're very limited in that we've actually only got one stud depth after the window, or one and a tiny bit, with the glass being slightly inset. But I think whatever we put in the windows will be very visible because it will be well lit from the centre of the room and will be just against a white background. So I've got a number of ideas what to do. The first one is just to have maybe a child's bedroom because it is a residential building. So I've got a rather unhappy looking teddy bear, which is the one from the Newbury Haunted High School set 70425. I didn't buy that set, but I did buy the bear on Bricks and Pieces, which you can get him on his own. And the jumper plate in a horrible colour and these 2 cone pieces in another horrible colour are just so he gets elevated to the right position to look out the window and be visible. These are just spare pieces that I can afford to use somewhere where they won't be seen, because I don't want to use nice colours that I can use elsewhere. So there we are. What child's bedroom doesn't have a teddy bear sat on the window looking sad because he'd rather be outside? Yep, that looks good. So I like that. So we'll also need people in this building. So I'm going to use a person that has no great parts that I want to use elsewhere. So I've just given him 2 1x2 plates so he gets raised to the right level. I've given him sort of Emmett legs, and that's because these won't be seen through the window at all, and I've got loads of them and I can't use them elsewhere because I've already got one Emmett on my building site facade. That was the first facade I did, and if you haven't seen that video, I'd definitely check it out because it's really good. So you can only have one Emmett, of course, and then that's a very popular torso and not the best face print and hair. But if I put him right in the centre of the next floor, no, didn't do a very good job there. So I'm leaning forward a bit so he doesn't get in the way of the wall. Then there's somebody looking out the window. So we've got the teddy bear and then a person. Then for the third one, I thought I'd have a pet parrot. This is my least favourite coloured parrot out of the 3 I've got so far. And the other 2 are red, so it'd be red on red, so it's a good contrast as well. And again, for his perch, I've just used a black and a gold piece, just because they'll barely be seen if seen at all. And I'll put that parrot in set 1. Ooh, there we go. On the floor below that. So that's looking good. And then on the last one, I thought I'd just do a lamp. And because most lamps have shades, it would be too deep. So I've done a sort of lava lamp, which is just a 1x1 round brick with a 1x1 round plate on the top. And in the middle is a cone piece, but it's actually quite a special one because it's one of those ones with the sort of sparkles in that's probably come from a Frozen set or an Elves set or something like that. And I'll just pick up pieces like that when they're cheap and I haven't used them before. And again, these 3 pieces are just bad colours that I can't really use anywhere else. Probably want it on that side this time. So you won't be able to see them. And there we are, there's a lava lamp. So we've got lava lamp, parrot, man, sad teddy bear. Oh. Right, I think that's enough. I'm not going to put anything on the lower 2 just because I don't think you'll see them at all because of the tram and trains and so on. I can always pull it out if it looks unusually empty. Right, the next challenge is to put this in position. Gulp. Right, I needed a step ladder, but it wasn't too bad. I am able to put my weight on these tables that this row of modulars on, so it wasn't as bad as I thought it might be. And you can see what I mean now. This skyscraper is quite narrow, and it's deliberately supposed to be sort of inferior, both in sort of stature and absolute height, than its neighbour, the black and transgreen one. But when it's got another body that will probably be up to about, say, here, about twice the width, I think it will look right in keeping, something between 2 large bookends. And I think you'll agree, you can see all the detail in the top 4 floors. At least you can in person, very clearly. There's the teddy bear, the man, the parrot, and the lava lamp's a bit pale. I'm not sure if you can definitely tell it's a lava lamp, but the fact that something's in the window makes it look a lot more lived in. I like it. And the lower 2 floors you can see quite clearly. And I think the lowest floor, not being just a blank red wall, but being the sort of service area in that different colour, does actually add a lot of contrast and interest. On to shaky handheld. So you can see by peering over the other buildings and past the railway line and underneath the tram line, you can see that lower floor being a bit different, but still being very clearly integrated with the rest of the building. And I definitely prefer that to the blank red wall that we were considering. Looks very good. And then you can see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red floors on top of that. Dwarfed by its neighbour, with President Business on his roof, with his awesome double height office. And now this is, what is it? So we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 facades. So this is the 6th facade. By no means the most impressive, but definitely very interesting and very bright actually as well. It looks quite recessed. I think it'll look even better when it's got its partner next to it, which will be another residential tower. Very good. And here we are on Assembly Square roof. So we can have a close-up of all of the windows. Very nice. Now, as somebody who always wants to go the extra mile, I thought I'd do something on the outside of this building. And I thought I would embrace the future and do a drone based on this 5x5 rotor piece that usually is sort of on a helicopter or something mounted on a Technic axle or pin. And I thought I'd use this because it's sort of quite a decent size compared with a minifigure, but not too big. And I thought I'd also use the new tiny propeller pieces, which were seen in the donut store opening set as part of the toy shop, where they were sold as these sort of propellers in a child's cap. And these, if you don't know, fit very well onto these round 1x1 modified tiles. They just clip in the top there. And I happen to have 4 red ones and 4 of the little propellers. So I thought they would make a good basis for a drone, because you can get a lot bigger propellers and so on, but I think they look a bit unrealistic when you compare them to a minifigure. And I think this is a bit more real. So there we go. So there's our very basic drone done. But what's it doing? Is it just flying around, bothering aircraft? No, this one is going to be the property of a delivery company. So I thought I would have it carrying a package. So I've got this sort of package tile, except it's not really a normal tile because it's one of these inverted tiles. That doesn't really make much difference. And onto that, I'm going to put a 1x2 Technic brick and another 1x2 Technic brick, but with the pin as part of it, and then close that off just to make a smooth box with another 2x2 conventional tile. And there is our lovely package. And I'm just going to have it the right way up so it's more recognizable. There we are. And then this can use its pin grabber to grab the package and therefore fly this around to whoever's ordered it. Maybe it's got Lego in it, who knows. So I think that looks good, and that could be flying near our skyscraper. And that's why I've put this Technic brick on, so it can clip with one of these trans pieces, long bars, and I can clip that onto there and thus mount this to the building and have this flying sort of apparently in midair. So what I think I'll do is replace one of the 1x2 black bricks with this. I'm also going to need obviously 2 1x2 black plates to make up the shortfall. And if I put that into the wall of our skyscraper, this will be sort of hovering above the tram line and maybe getting a bit too near to the TV helicopter. Who knows? Sad thing is, I've got to get back on that step ladder. Nightmare. Back to shaky cam and its success. There is our drone, complete with package, sort of flying near the top floor, maybe delivering to President Business, I don't know. And there you see. It's a pity the red is against the red to a degree, but it's the only colour I've got for those pieces. At least it makes it a bit bright, and from a sort of more oblique angle, you can see it a lot more clearly. You can definitely see it's a package. I think that looks really good. Maybe when I've got the other skyscraper off, I'll move it into that one so it shows up a little bit better. What do you think? Lastly, as a small aside, it's my New Year's resolution to put in some vehicles, because I keep saying I will and then not doing it. So every video, I'm going to put in another vehicle until we've got some busy streets. So if I don't remember to do that, do let me know. But I'm going to start off with Parker and Jack from the recent Hidden Side sets, driving their, well, what is it? Jeep buggy thing with massive anti-ghost gun. But I do quite like this vehicle. It's quite good fun, and there's plenty of room for both of them, and they look like they're on a mission, so why not? It somewhat reduces the need for me to add any Ghostbusters to the city, but nonetheless, I like it. So there we are, our 6th Facade, and it's looking good. Maybe not the most adventurous build compared with some of the others, but at 3 videos a week, they can't all be spectacular. And I do think the 3D drone sticking out and hovering in midair is a real good addition as well for a bit of flavour in the city. And let's not forget the wonderful ghost buggy at the bottom with Jack and Parker fighting unknown evil forces. So as always, thank you very much for watching. Do remember to like, comment and subscribe for more awesome LEGO videos. And next time on Robin Hood Bricks, I can't decide. I'll either extend one of my trains so it's a lot longer, a veritable snake if you will, or I will start with the elevated section in between my railway crossing and the run of shops that we've almost completed to start progress towards the beach. It's going to be a while before we can get that beach in place. I know a lot of you are impatient for that, and that's understandable. But if we don't get started in that raised area, we'll never get there. And it's something, to be honest, that I've been putting off. But whatever we get up to, I'm sure it'll be great fun. See you then!